From the Schmoes Know Network Studios in Los Angeles, California, it's time for Meet the Movie Press. And now, here's your host, editor-in-chief of schmoesknow.com, Mark Reilly, and from The Wrap, Jeff Sneider.
Well, hello, Schmoeville. Oh, God, I love that music. It's just so good. It just makes me feel alive, and it means that we are meeting the movie press. And if you'll notice something, I am talking all by myself. I have no one sitting at this table with me. Jeff Sneider, film reporter from The Wrap, is actually on assignment at the Toronto Film Festival. So we wish Jeff Sneider a great, successful visit. I'm going to miss him. I'm going to flounder, obviously, without his steady hand. But I am actually really excited for this show because I'm bringing in two people that I just adore. They're good-looking people. They are what I call the TV journalists. It means they have the good looks, they have the nice voices. They're not hiding behind some computer like me, eating, just stuffing pizza down my throat. You know, they actually have to dress up and look good. So without further ado, I mean, this is a great crossover event. From Profiles, Scott Mantz, Alicia Malone.
Hello.
Come on, can we get some canned,
yes.
Anything, JT?
Woo, woo.
No? 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 There we go.
Cheers,
sorry, they were
crowd.
asleep at the switch. I'm so sorry. How are you guys doing?
Great. Thank you so much for having us on the
Yeah.
show.
Be better. Thrilled to be here. I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Alicia Malone.
That's right.
Because she brought me into the Schmoeville universe.
She's your agent, is that correct?
She is.
And he's my publicist,
And
so
I'm
we
her
work well
publicist.
together.
You work really well together. That's really great. And I can understand. You guys are killing it on Profiles. It brings me to the point here. Meet the Movie Press. Schmoeville, thank you very much for rating, subscribing, sharing it around. We are climbing the charts. Profiles is climbing the charts.
Climbing the charts,
So
baby.
this is good. We are sitting here in symbiotic harmony. We are working with each other. I love it so much. And you guys, we have a Facebook page, Meet the Movie Press on the Schmoes Know Network. Go over there. You can see all the updates, our guests. Go ahead, give it a like, give it a share, tell your mom. Do it with Profiles too. Come on.
Do it with
Please, that would be
Profiles.
great.
Absolutely. You guys just hit what, 1,000
We
likes?
just passed 1,000.
Okay,
our
so
Facebook page.
so basically, Meet the Movie Press fans, they're kicking our butt. I want to see some likes on that page. Don't make me come after you, or my dog Kal-El. He'll come after you actually. But you guys, what's exciting about this show is that because Jeff's not here, I now have two people that can actually help me interview you guys. I mean, because I have to go back and forth. I'm going to talk to Scott, then I'm going to talk to Alicia, but you guys are going to be able to jump in because you're pros.
Yeah, and we work really well together. I mean,
Absolutely.
me and Mantz met a few years ago, and straight away we were like, oh my God, it's like the same person.
We're like from the same gene pool. We like totally hit it off. We met at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
In 2011, became instant friends.
Yeah.
And just over the years, we just had the same sensibility about movies, and we just would always see each other at screenings and premieres and events and at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And just when she asked me to co-host Profiles with her, I was so excited, and it's been so great.
I know your guys' show is so great.
So
I mean, I
fun.
listen to it on the ride. I go down to Orange County a lot, so I'm always throwing it on the iPhone and just kind of, and I love it. And I know you just did a Scorsese, which I can't wait.
So
Oh
good.
my
So
God!
fun, so
but
fun.
but here in Meet the Movie Press, as you guys know, we are the reporters, the journalists. We do the scoops, we do the stories. Hollywood is now. The movies are so popular, but what seems to be so popular are these blogs, these trades, these stories that come out, these exclusive scoops. Who's doing Aquaman? Who's cast in Star Wars? It creates a conversation, and that's what we do at Meet the Movie Press. So I got to just throw it to you guys and give you like your resume because it's pretty impressive. Okay, I mean we got Scott Mantz, Access Hollywood, The Today Show, KTLA.
Yes.
I mean you're all over the place, man. You're at the Emmys.
I was at the Emmys.
How
and-
was that?
Well, first of all, I'm at the Emmys, and I'm texting Alicia Malone
Of course
the
you are.
entire time I'm there, being like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to do Profiles tomorrow." Well, because I mean, here's what you got to know, Mark. I am absolutely a movie guy, just
Yeah.
like Alicia is a movie woman, and we love movies. I mean, I live, breathe, and eat this stuff.
Yeah.
I see 5 to 7 movies a week, and I still find the time on the weekends. I'm still going through the paper, being like, "Okay, what didn't I get a chance to see?" And
Yeah.
then I go and I
Me
see those
too.
movies too.
Yeah, absolutely.
what we live for.
It absolutely, and I know through Alicia, through Schmoes Know, she's my cohort. She was my trivia challenge partner for the first round, which
was really tough going up against this guy, Facty McFacterson.
Yeah, I guess this is like I said, it's a wasteland for movie knowledge.
It's amazing.
It just kind of sticks in. But for you to join the Schmoes Know team, your resume is just damn impressive as well. I mean, you're AMC independent now, right? Your new show, AMC Movie Talk, Tick Tick Boom. You got Malone's Movie Minute. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You're on Schmoes Know and you're on Profiles. I mean, you guys are doing.
Wait,
she's on Access Hollywood.
And now Access Hollywood because guys,
Access Hollywood.
So little. We're gonna get into some. I'm gonna just pick their brain like crazy. But let me just tell you a little story to start off. I'm down in Orange County having a glass of wine with my girlfriend. We're in a very nice atmosphere at Orange County, and all of a sudden, my girlfriend looks up and goes, "Alicia!" And I look up and all over, there's like flat screen TVs all over the place. And there's Alicia, a little close up on Alicia on Access Hollywood. And then it pulls back and there you are.
No way. That is so cool.
So Meet the Movie Press now. For the first time, we have Access Hollywood, Alicia Malone and Scott Mantz.
Yes.
How does that feel? I mean,
it feels great.
That rolls off the tongue. So I want to ask you guys first, Scott, did you bring Alicia in?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And how did you start with Access Hollywood? Because it's something I've been watching since I was little. Since I was a wee one.
Well, it's sort of a loaded question, but the short story is that I moved out to LA in 1991.
Okay.
And I worked for an entertainment marketing company. I was actually doing finance for this company.
Wow.
I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Your personality does not deserve to be away from the spotlight, my friend.
That is why I left.
Yes. Good. Okay. So finance.
But you see, I grew up in Philadelphia, and I was not encouraged from a family of creative people. My dad was an accountant. My brother is an investment banker. My mom was a bank teller. Wow. My jam growing up was movies. Always, always movies. But I never in a million years imagined moving to California. Maybe I thought New York, and that would be it.
Sure.
So after I moved here, I was like, okay, I'm in LA. I'm in Hollywood. Where do I fit in this movie business? So after working for this company, which I really liked a lot, it's called Creation Entertainment. They, among other things, they do licensing and merchandising for film and TV, and they also do the sci-fi conventions, and I'm a big Star Trek fan, so...
Ooh, well, I'm a big Star Wars fan,
so
we're going to go get in a fight outside.
I love Star Wars.
Wait a minute. Oh, that's right.
Wait, I love Star Wars, but I
do.
just do love Star Trek just a wee bit more.
That's okay, that's okay.
But long story short, towards the end of my run there, I was like, what's next? You know, it was a great job for my 20s.
Okay.
But I was like, I don't want to be doing this when I'm 40.
Right.
And much less 45, which is how old I am now.
Wow.
But...
look it.
Look at I know.
Well, thank you. You're just so kind. Because the headphones are hiding the gray hair.
No, that's all right.
I'm just going to wear these headphones forever.
You have the baby face. It's really great.
But so I was like, where do I fit? And I was taking all these classes at UCLA Extension in production, in development, and I'm not a screenwriter. No desire to be a screenwriter. No desire to be an actor. No desire to be a director. I just like watching movies and talking about them and writing about them. And this is the late 90s when the internet was really starting to coalesce and solidify itself as the go-to place for information. And I started writing these reviews for a website that doesn't even exist anymore. Okay. In 1999, the first movie I ever reviewed was Alicia's favorite movie, Eyes Wide Shut.
Wow.
It's not her favorite. But it was a movie that flaws aside, I had a lot to say about it. It's a Stanley Kubrick movie. So from that point on, I was seeing movies just to review them. And after about 6 months of doing that, I was like, okay, this is it. This is it. So
this is what you love. This is your jam.
This is it. I got it. I found it. And I was like, I didn't even know that I could write, because it was because of the internet that I realized that I had a voice and I had a place to express it.
Yeah, and I mean, your passion, obviously, your passion. Schmoeville loves you. When you first came on the Schmoes Know podcast, people were like, get this guy back on.
Get this guy back on Schmoeville!
So your passion is, I mean, you're lighting up right now just even talking about it.
I just do.
So it led you, so what was the website that you wrote for?
It was called the BigTimeHollywood.com. It doesn't exist anymore.
It happens in Hollywood. It happens on the blogospheres, the internet.
Yeah.
You know?
Come and go.
Yeah.
So from there, I quit the job that I was working at. And, you know, I was 30, and the only overhead I had was my rent.
Okay.
And the only mouth I had to feed was my cat.
Yeah.
You know, she died in 2003. God, I miss her so much.
Let's not go there, Scott. Come on.
World. But I started sending my reviews out to newspapers around the country, and I was getting some bites here and there, but not enough to make a living at it.
Yeah.
But then I started sending feelers out for like Entertainment Tonight, Access Hollywood, E News, CNN, and of course, whatever else.
Yeah.
But through that, I became a segment producer for Access Hollywood, and at the time, they were very much into film. They're not as much into film now, which is a bone of contention.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But that's how I got started. I was segment producing, field producing. I started going out in the field doing junkets, premieres, covering film festivals like Sundance and Toronto, and I spearheaded all their coverage for Comic-Con, and all the while on the side, I kept reviewing movies. I found a time usually on the weekends, when I had time to sit down and write.
Yeah,
and you still do.
And I still do it
on Access Hollywood.
I love doing it.
And that's a great. I love that you started. I mean, it's like you were following the family business almost, right? And finance, and how it led you to LA, and now look at you. You're all over the place.
I'm an embarrassment to my family.
No. I'm the embarrassment to my family. They still are wondering what the hell I'm doing.
The timing was right. If I had started even maybe just a couple years later, I might never ended up at Access or anywhere, And so the timing was good. And I still, in 2004, when Access launched their website, and well, Mantz is already reviewing movies for himself. Why didn't he just put his reviews on the Access site?
There you go.
So instantly, I became like affiliated with a somewhat, at least an official publication, so to speak.
That's cool.
And then just from there, it just sort of ballooned. And even though my job at Access is specifically as a producer, from there I was the reviews I was writing, if they were positive, they got picked up by the newspapers and the Departed DVD and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's quoted on a lot of posters.
Yeah, I see that. I see you on TV. I see your quotes on TV for some of these movies, and it's so amazing. And of course your cohort here, which I had to talk to Alicia, because I mean, I instantly met Alicia, or instantly liked Alicia when I met you. So, Alicia, you started at Fandango?
Well, that was...
I mean, I know you came from Australia.
One of my first American outlets.
Okay.
Yeah. So, basically, I moved to LA 3 years ago, but I had been working in TV in Australia for 10 years previously.
Wow.
So, straight out of school, I decided I didn't want to go to university or college.
Okay.
I just wanted to get straight to work. And I knew I would be better learning on the job. So, I got a job as a production assistant on a breakfast show on Channel 7 called Sunrise.
Okay.
And then
this is in Australia?
This is in Australia, in Sydney. And I stayed there for 6 or so years.
Wow.
Moving up the ranks from production assistant to
teleprompter
girl.
Okay, teleprompter girl.
Yeah.
Did you ever do like the reality bites like Winona Ryder? Did you like write something like really racy on there and your boss just read it out loud?
Anchorman? Yeah, I wanted to do that, but I never did. I like the presenters too much.
Okay,
the hosts.
good.
And then I worked through a few different behind the scenes roles in the control room until I realized that's not really what I wanted to do. Then I got hired as a producer and editor at a movie cable network.
Okay.
And from there I started pitching shows to them that I knew wouldn't cost any money. They could do it at the back of another shoot. I could produce it. I could edit it. Just happened to be hosted by me.
There you go. I mean, when was that first step? Like, so did your boss
2006.
Did your boss go look at you and go, get in front of the camera?
No,
that's where you belong.
It was the opposite. It was
really
you don't belong in front of the camera. You are behind the scenes girl. No one could imagine me as that because I'm naturally quite shy and introverted, and so no one knew that I could do it. I know you guys find it hard.
I'm shaking my head.
I refuse to believe that you're
and I'm also
shy
thinking,
anyway.
These short-sighted son of a bitches. Okay, so
it took a lot of hustling, and let me tell you, for anyone out there, don't get put off by rejection because I got a ton of it, but I was determined. I was like, okay, tell me what I need to fix.
Yeah.
All right, you don't like my voice? I'll go do voice training. You know,
nice.
I just kept going, kept working at it. There was a breakfast show that called me up because they wanted to audition the host that I was producing for the breakfast show, and I said, well, I'd like to come in for an audition as well. They were like, you? Okay. But because I had worked for years behind the scenes on a breakfast show, I knew exactly what they needed for that person. It was a DVD reviewer. I knew exactly what they needed. I called them up afterwards. I heard someone else got the job. I said, I just want some feedback. Let me know what I can work on. They said, oh, we haven't even watched your audition. Let's go watch it. 5 minutes later, call me. You got the job.
Oh, nice.
So I did all that. I built up my career in Australia to the point where I was at the front of the red carpet. Everyone knew me as the movie girl. I was on lots of different radio stations and TV networks. And then I quit everything to move over here.
And what was that decision like? Why did you say, you know what, you just worked your butt off to get to the top of the heap in Australia, but you wanted to be in Hollywood? You wanted to be where the action is?
It was always the dream, Hollywood, and it was something that I never thought that I could do as a really shy 15-year-old. I thought there is no way I'd get the confidence to ever move here and be amongst all the filmmakers that I grew up watching and admiring and get to interview them. And they just had this really strong voice inside that said, do it, it'll be fine. I didn't know anyone here. I had no contacts. And I moved over, and eventually I got to work for Australia, and that's how I got my in at junkets and premieres. And I met people like Fandango and AMC and you guys. And then from there, word of mouth and recommendations from people. That's how I got more and more jobs.
3 years. I mean, that just keeps sticking with me. 3 years you've been here, and you're kicking butt.
She's kicking butt. It's
it
amazing.
takes time though. It's like,
well,
I know
you did the groundwork in Australia. I mean, obviously you have an impressive resume. You know, these people are looking at it saying, well, you can handle it. So let's put you over here. And even Scott Mantz, this guy that you met at Comic-Con, goes, I'm going to put you on Access Hollywood. So guys, tell me about that, because this is interesting. Access Hollywood, I grew up with. They're the premier, one of the premier movie news interviews, junkets, all the things. You know.
Well, here's the thing, Mark. Access Hollywood has changed a lot over the years. When I first started working there, 70% of their coverage was film. Yeah. And now it's not like that. Now,
a lot of television.
It's a lot of gossip. It's a lot of gossip, and that's not my bag at all. Yeah. But I still get to just cover film. I mean, I've never been assigned anything that has anything to do with any gossip stuff, and I'm grateful for that. And because of my connection and affiliation, I've been able to branch off and do other things. Yeah. Like coming here and do Schmoes, which I'm like loving the hell out of. Yeah. Doing the Today Show, which is obviously a very, very big deal. But
it is.
Very, very big
It's
deal.
the Today Show, not Good Morning America, JT.
It's the Today Show, and it's very, very surreal when that happens, because I fly in on a Friday, do it Saturday morning, and fly back to LA on Saturday.
Wow.
So, but over the years, once I started to gain clout and credibility and build a reputation as a reviewer and as someone who is just very passionate about film, and I get called a lot of times to just come and see early cuts of films, so the filmmakers and the studios get an honest reaction. Yeah. But the big thing is that at Access, I have to be very picky and careful about what movies I'm going to fight for, and I also have to be careful about who I'm going to champion. And all the stuff I've done for Access, I've been by myself, or I've been interacting with our hosts like Billy Bush and Sean Robinson, Tony Potts, who used to work there for a long time. But when it got to a point where I was able to bring in someone from the outside, there was one person and only one person that I knew that I wanted to be my sparring partner, my co-pilot.
And when do I start? Is that oh, you're talking about Alicia?
Yes.
Oh my God.
What happened was it was in December, and one of the other producers there said, hey, we want you to do a year-end, best movies of the year kind of thing. Okay. And is there we want you to have someone you're doing it with. Yeah. And I said, I know exactly who that person is going to be. And I called Alicia up, and I just said, hey, I've got great news. And this was right before she had to take a trip to Australia. Oh, yeah? And it was like, and because like our stage time at Access, every minute is spoken for, and it's like a domino effect. Yeah. One thing goes wrong, it just screws up the whole day. Yeah,
I changed my flight, but I was still flying in the morning of.
She got off a plane.
My flight landed at 6 a.m. and I knew I had to be at Access Hollywood in Burbank at 9.
Yeah, and that's not flying from like San Francisco to LA here.
She's underselling it. She left Australia. The last she was on camera doing something for Australian TV.
Yeah, I was on a breakfast show called Studio 10 where they were talking about my career and the hugs and the people that I've met. So I had the makeup done from that. So I didn't take it off.
Were you like on the plane going, don't touch me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I don't want the warm blanket.
I was very still.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep at all. I got off the plane. I rushed over, and luckily,
It's Access Hollywood.
did it. Oh yeah,
She
it's always
came
been
in.
my dream. So.
She came in, did a costume change, went on, knocked it out of the friggin' park.
Oh yeah,
and
I'm sure she did it. We know. I mean, Schmoeville, you know Alicia, you know Scott Mantz. These guys are professionals. So when was this what I just saw when I was sipping wine? This was a while ago.
Yeah, so that was in December, and
That was-
then
okay, year
since
end.
then,
Got it.
there's been several times. Like Scott's great; he always sends me the link with our piece, and it'll be like Malone and Mantz take 1, Malone and Mantz take 2. Now it's like Malone and Mantz take. I don't know what we're up to.
I forgot.
Because
I lost
I've
count.
been asked back on the show several times, and for me, it really is part of my whole dream. I always wanted to be on a big entertainment show, but just talking about movies.
And I love this, and I want to then move into my next point because you guys are huge movie fans, and which I love because that's me.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is
you
you.
know, obviously the trivia thing, and I always go to every movie I can see. If I'm not seeing a movie in the theater, I'm watching it streaming or
That's
a
how I feel.
DVD.
That's how we feel.
Me
Like
too.
24 hours a day. I don't really. I don't get time to watch TV.
No, me
sometimes.
neither.
Me neither.
And people are always like, Game of Thrones, Riley, and I'm like, look, I'm gonna watch Avengers and fall asleep.
Yes.
That's just who I am.
That's me.
So, but a big part of this business is the junket and the celebrity interview.
Right.
And you guys do that.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's something that, again, you know, me stuffing, you know, a hoagie in my face, you know, writing a story for schmoesno.com or talking to, you know, Jeff at The Wrap or talking to some, you know, we've had Variety, we've had Badass Digest. Now we have the pretty people sitting in front of celebrities. And tell me, like, Scott, let's start with you. How did you start? Who's your first interview? Let's start there.
My first interview was Matthew McConaughey.
Nice.
Yeah, back in 2001 for a movie called Frailty.
Yeah, I
that
remember
Bill Paxton
Frailty.
directed.
Yeah.
That was the first junket I did. You know, back then he was not doing so many great movies.
No, was that his romantic comedy like run when he was just every romantic comedy scene he had Kate Hudson or him?
Well, that came later actually because How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which is not a bad movie because of the chemistry between them. That was February of 2003.
Okay.
And
He is Rain Man with dates, so this is why I always laugh
I just
when
threw
he
some
brings up.
toothpicks on the ground there. How many?
64.
So there you go.
There you
Okay,
go.
I like it.
But that was the first, and I went through a string for a period of time where I did a lot of junkets because you know, as a segment producer, I coordinate the coverage and, you know, set up the premieres and the film, you know, coordinate everything, and then I would go out and just shoot everything myself and then come back and cut it myself. But as my job as a segment producer got bigger and I started spending more time reviewing, I became a lot pickier about the types of junkets I would do. I would sort of just do the ones I sort of wanted to do.
Sure.
But Alicia Malone here does everything.
I do everything. So I still work for Australia.
Yeah.
And I also work for New Zealand, plus all the places in America. So I'm at pretty much every junket.
I know, I see,
everywhere.
and I mean, you're getting hugs from Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
You are. I mean, you're bringing up, hey, the dude, and then you're talking to, you know, and okay, you know, I was going to talk about this later, but I want to rope it around to schmoesno.com because we had a good day one weekend, and I owed a lot to Alicia Malone here. So Alicia goes in, guys, if you're aware of this, we were kind of the first site to break something, at least a comment from one of the main cast members of Ant-Man, and that was Michael Douglas. And I'm not going to take credit for this. I will only take credit because Alicia Malone sat down and talked to Michael Douglas, got a quote, sent it to me. I put it on the internet, and
Within an hour.
Within an hour, it exploded. We got the biggest hit of the day, probably of the year.
It went everywhere.
It went everywhere. The Guardian picked it up.
Yeah.
The playlist.
Oh, wow.
LA Times.
Amazing.
All the major blogs. If Jeff Sneider was here, I would ask why he didn't cover it, but I don't think they did. But so how did that? So that was through the Australian TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I do junkets for Australia, I'm on the international day. So there's always 2 days, sometimes 3 days at a junket. One domestic, or the US press.
Okay.
One
That's you.
international, which is the world, and it's really fascinating because you get people from all over the world. Some don't speak very good English, and I always wonder what goes on in that room.
Yeah.
Usually,
God, I wish I was a fly on the wall there.
it's so
Yeah.
interesting.
You're great fatal attraction.
Sometimes the stars, I walk in and I was like, what was that about? I have no idea. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
So it's pretty rare that the international day will be before the domestic day. Usually they do the US press first.
Okay.
This one was. So I don't usually cover news because when I'm on the international day, all the US press have asked them every single question by then. Australia doesn't care about those news because we can't turn it around fast enough.
Right.
But this one, for Michael Douglas's film And So It Goes, it was International Day. It was early. I was the first person off the block of the day, and I had 10 minutes with Michael Douglas.
Wow.
So I had a double slot because I was covering for so many different people.
Yeah.
So I knew I would have time at the end. I'd get all the questions out for Australia and all my other outlets, and then the one question at the end. And I knew no one would have asked him about it, and he gave a great grab. And then I just was like, Reilly, here you go.
And that's exactly what I wanted to get into. That's what's interesting to me is that, you know, you can flip-flop it. If it would flip-flop that day, domestic would have been all over that.
Yeah, so
I mean, they would have asked, that would probably have been the first question.
Exactly.
You know, and he's here to talk about his movie, you know, so, and again, I think it's a sign of your character and your smarts, and I'm sure you do this too, Scott. I mean, and it's probably, you know, these actors are answering the same questions over and over and over and over and over again. And so what I noticed from the video that you sent me was that, you know, Michael Douglas kind of lit up a bit because maybe you were the first to ask him. Maybe he'd been bottling it in because he did actually have something to say about Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
How sad he was.
Yeah, and how he thought Edgar would have his revenge.
That was the big one for me. I was like, oh my God, this is great.
Oh, wow.
So of course we posted it. So that's Schmoeville. That's a very interesting way of like getting, and it shows just how important timing is for a website like ours, like Schmoes Know, which is a blog, not like the Rap and Variety and Hollywood Reporter probably have their own guys, you know, so they probably could have gotten that, but that was directly thanks to you. So
way to go, Alicia Malone.
I know on here I'm thanking Alicia Malone because that was so great.
For the record,
it's for the record.
Nice.
So in these celebrity interviews, so do you walk into these things and you see the fatigue in their eyes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, because sometimes I'll be on the international day and I'll be last because they schedule you wherever they feel.
Right.
And so they would have done over 100 interviews by that stage.
Yeah.
And they had done. And I imagine, Mantz, when you walk into the room, people are like, wow, the energy, because you feel that when Mantz walks into the room.
Mantz walks in and he's like, hey, Gremlins 2!
Yes, Gremlins 2! I love Gremlins 2!
That's how he got that little story, the behind-the-scenes stuff, the Schmoes Know movie show when Mantz came on. I was tired that day. I was just like, whatever. And you came in and you were like...
It's like an espresso shot when you...
It was a shot of adrenaline thanks to Gremlins 2. You're like, I gotta show you this.
Wait.
So
a couple weeks ago, she came by Access to do a segment with me, and she was drinking a Red Bull.
Oh, I
was like, oh, I never really had one of those. And she goes, no, you don't need a Red Bull.
Stay away from the Red Bull.
Step away from the Red Bull.
Yeah.
Never have Red Bull. You don't need Red Bull at all.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to these junkets and the premieres, there are questions that we have to ask.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And they get tired of being asked the same questions all day. Fortunately for Access, I know it makes it tougher for you because you're going in like maybe on the second day and it's at the end of the day.
But at least I only ever have to cover movie because I work for all movie shows.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful because unfortunately, a show like Access Hollywood, we do get into the personal stuff.
Yeah.
That's not my bag.
You want that kind of scoop. Well, they want that kind of scoop.
They want that kind of scoop. So sometimes I'm in a position where I have to ask a question I really don't like to ask.
Right.
And most of the time I won't do it because it's just not appropriate. Like it's on a red carpet and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to ask a question like that. But I do like to come up with different things like what Alicia does with her hugs.
Yeah.
Are great. I mean, everyone loves that.
And that's what's so, that's why you guys are so enjoyable. I've seen your work. I see what you do. And it's fun when you can kind of inject some kind of humor, something different because, when it's the same thing over and over again.
And it's really tricky. I think there's a real art to the junket because you get 4 minutes. I know Access will get more, but for Australia, I will get 4 minutes with the star. And I know that I'm covering for, usually it's for 3 different places with the one interview. One commercial TV station, one cable TV station, and then one cinema chain.
Yeah. So you have to be on your game.
I have to make sure I get enough material for them all while keeping it fun and interesting. And I really think about the questions and really research
great
it.
Questions.
And then I try to use the last minute or the last little question to do something fun, something silly. And the hugs came out because I do get shy. So that was really just a personal challenge for me. Can I ask someone for a hug and will they say yes? Luckily, they always do.
I still refuse to believe that she's shy. She is so
I know. I don't buy it either. I don't buy it either.
I put on the Alicia Malone suit to be the TV person.
All right, a couple questions for you guys. So, Alicia, have you ever been denied a hug?
Once, but
Robert Downey Jr.?
No, Robert Downey Jr. actually gave me a hug, and he's a germaphobe, so that is unheard of. But I was like, hey,
wow.
I'm gonna
just like Iron Man, huh?
He said he loved the interview that I came up with a question that no one had asked, and this was the last day on like day 3.
Wow.
So he's like, all right, I'll give you a hug. Jared Leto was one who said no, but he said, can we do something else? And I said, how about we awkwardly stare at each other? So we did that for a minute and I didn't break. And then in the end, he was like, yeah, you're awkward. And then he thought the cameras had stopped rolling, but the one behind him was still rolling. And he said, come here, I'll give you a hug.
Oh,
so then he did.
You got him. You broke him down.
And my favorite thing is to ask people you don't think could be huggable.
Yeah.
Like Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And see if they do it. Yeah. He didn't really encircle his arms around me per se, but he let me hug him.
Okay.
And that I felt was a win.
I wouldn't have let go, I think. Now, Mantz, I got to ask you this. You review movies. Have you ever been in the room with I mean, because you're well known in Hollywood. Yeah. These people know you, right? Yeah. Didn't Julia Roberts scream your name at the Emmys?
Yes. Okay, that was so freaking surreal. Jeez.
Yeah.
So because I'm a member of the Broadcast Film Critics Association, which is something that Alicia is in a process of working on.
Give me a little background of that. I think that's interesting because I've heard of it, but I don't think Schmoeville knows a lot lot about it. So
well, every January they have this award show called the Critics' Choice Movie Awards.
Okay,
they're held usually the day of the
Oscar announcements
or the weekend of the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes are on Sunday, so the Critics' Choice Movie Awards will be on Thursday or Friday because all the stars are in town for the Globes, so they sort of like jump on that bandwagon.
Sure.
But where the Hollywood Foreign Press, the Golden Globes, have about 85 members or 90 members, a lot of them part-time journalists. The Critics' Choice, they have about 250 journalists who are like me and Alicia.
Okay.
And we review movies on camera, we cover junkets, we cover premieres,
Yep.
and broadcast film critics.
Yeah.
So this is an award show that, unlike the other award show where I'm working, I actually just get to go because I'm a member.
Get to dress up.
I get to dress up. I just get to go and have fun, and my wife gets to just schmooze with everybody.
That's great.
But so at the Critics' Choice Movie Awards this past January, we sat at the table where they were, August Osage County was.
Okay, I was wondering. Yeah,
we go to the table and all the name tags are on the table, and I walk over and Andrea, my wife, looks over and she goes, "Oh my god! It says my name, it says her name, and this is Julia Roberts."
There you
and
go.
We're like, wait a minute. So then she comes over, she sits down with her publicist, and like during all the commercial breaks, I'm sitting there talking to Julia Roberts.
You're breaking bread.
And her publicist emailed my boss at Access, my executive producer, Rob, said, "Oh, Mantz," everyone just calls me Mantz.
Yeah.
It was so nice, and Julia couldn't believe how smart he was with movies and everything like that. So there I am. I'm at the Emmys, just wrangling town for Sean Robinson.
Yeah.
And Julia Roberts, she did one interview at the top of the red carpet for the live pre-show, and then she just went right in.
Right.
So as she's walking by, I'm standing there. I think I was in the middle of sending you a text.
Probably.
And then I hear, Mantz! I look up, and it's Julia waving at me.
Oh, my God.
And I went,
cool.
Did you guys get that?
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
See, Schmoeville, if you work hard, if you study, if you eat right, this could happen. Julia Roberts could wave at you and know your name. Awesome. Is that correct?
But yes, in the right situation. But the most gratifying thing at the Emmys, although Julia's recognition definitely was up there, but was a publicist who was handling somebody else came up to me and she said, thank you so much for all the love you give in Boyhood.
Oh,
because
nice.
I reviewed it. I wrote it up. I wrote a review. I reviewed it on camera like 3 times.
Yeah.
And I did one of my little taxi cab reviews on it. And, it's big because a lot of people in New York take taxis.
Yeah.
And that's where they see me. And, I can't tell you.
Right.
I was in Toronto last year. and I was walking down the street, just running to a premiere. I think I was running to the Gravity premiere.
Yep.
Okay.
And somebody goes, Movie Mantz. I turn around, I'm like, oh, hey. I'm thinking, do I know you? And she goes, I see you in the taxis all the time.
That's great.
I mean, that's actually how I got the Today Show thing.
Oh, that's cool.
The producer saw me doing the taxis, and she saw me on Access Hollywood Live. But to get that kind of like gratification from somebody about a movie that I was really trying to champion, that was a big deal.
And I love that you're championing it, because and to go back to something you said, you actually kind of pick and choose what you want to get behind.
Can't. I mean, that would have. What is it with me and cups?
That's okay. That's okay. We have somebody to clean this up here at AfterBuzz Studios.
That's an in joke, right?
I didn't get it, so I just rolled with it.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay, good.
But when I get to listen, I cover Comic-Con every year. That's definitely my jam. I try to make it to Sundance and TIFF every year, Toronto. But because I'm sort of like the nerd of Access, not just movie nerd, but I mean, everyone knows I love the comic book movies and the sci-fi movies. I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt as we speak,
which I love.
So when I interviewed Andrew Garfield for Amazing Spider-Man in 2002, I started off the interview by showing him the first Spider-Man comic book I ever bought. Which was Amazing Spider-Man number 90 from 1971, where Captain Stacy dies, just like he does in that movie.
That's right.
So when I interviewed them again this past May for Amazing Spider-Man 2, they were like, "Hey, you come up, hey, man, hey, that's pretty cool."
You're making a lot of not connections, I would say friends. You're making friends. I love that. That's a part of.
They can tell he's really genuine.
Yes, and that's what I like about you guys so much, because you're both so genuine. How can you not like you guys? You're coming in with this infectious energy, and obviously Julia Roberts is yelling across the way. You're getting, Alicia's getting hugs. So two things that I notice and I see that Alicia is kind of creeping up on you, man. It's like getting on Access and whatnot.
She's gonna pass me.
But there's like Meet the Movie Press. What I love about this is it's an all-encompassing. It could be, print. It could be for the trades, a blog, a popular blog. Alicia, you are doing AMC Movie Talk, okay, and you've done Fandango, and those are genuinely online stuff, so internet stuff.
Yes.
So Mantz is getting recognized because he's in taxi cabs all over the world and whatnot. What do you guys think the difference is between the online and what I would say the everyday? I think that's a loose term, but my mother recognizes you, Mantz. I mean, because she watches Access Hollywood.
That's cool.
That's her thing. But then there are the geeks. A nice way to put it are the geeks. They're online. They're watching the Schmoes Know reviews. They're watching AMC Movie Talk. They're they're behind their computer actually catching, because it's a huge world. So what's this difference here? Why do you think that AMC is so popular and Schmoes Know is getting popular and all these things, and Mantz, you're running around doing Access Hollywood? Like what's the difference there, in your opinion, guys?
Because online with Schmoes and AMC, you can interact with the audience.
Yeah.
So I think that is huge. People feel like they know you, they can talk to you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't get the best comments, but that's okay. Shake them off. Shake them off.
Shake it off. It's okay.
And online is a place. Yeah. Oh, I'm not a feminist slut. No.
Yeah. Who said that?
Unidentified user number 52.
Yeah, we know them well, trolls.
But you're right that online is where you can geek out, and this is where you can take risks with doing different shows like Profiles, where we can literally geek out about a filmmaker or an actor, and then people who are like-minded can find it and have a place and a community to talk with. Same with Schmoes Know. I mean, I've got to say the Schmoeville, the community is just so nice,
and
stellar.
They're
really supportive. That's the best reaction I've ever gotten from the internet. And I feel like it's because they've foster such a great relationship with them, and they feel like they're part of the show.
Yeah, it's easy to like them.
Yeah,
that's what I feel.
On that note, I can tell you, just because of the experience I've been doing Profiles for the last month.
Yeah,
is I've been with Access for October 9th. John Lennon's birthday.
Nice.
Will be 14 years.
Wow.
Okay, so that's a long time. My hair was your color when I first started working there. Yes, I'm totally dating myself, but that's fine.
That's fine, man.
But over the years, when I started posting posting my reviews and online.
Yeah.
And when I do Access Hollywood on the weekends, I get like 3 minutes with Sean Robinson. And when I would do the live show on Friday mornings, I would just get a minute. Really, I mean, they wheel me out. I have 1 minute to talk about whatever I wanted to talk about, and then they wheel me back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's broadcast, and then they put it online. But I never get any reaction at all. Very, very few comments. And I always thought the thing that I took the most pride in, the thing that I really felt proud of, were the written reviews, because I put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah.
You know,
Time.
I just put a lot of time, and I like to write, and finding the time every week to do it is not easy. No one ever comes up to me and says, "Hey, Mantz, I read your review for Edge of Tomorrow."
Yeah.
No, this guy at the gym I work out at, he was always naked in the men's locker room.
Oh boy.
I call him Old Naked Guy because I don't even know his name.
Yeah.
He's like really old and really naked, and he comes up to me when I'm like getting dressed and putting my workout clothes on, talking to me about Edge of Tomorrow because he saw me on camera.
Because he saw you on camera.
But since I did Schmoes for the first time with Alicia, thanks to Alicia, which was 2 days after I did AMC Movie News the first time.
Wow.
And they were kind of different experiences because of the comments that I got. People in Schmoeville are the best.
Yeah, and like I said, they engage with you. They are like-minded people, I would say. They're just like us.
Yeah, exactly.
But since we've been doing profiles, the online support that I feel like I've been getting just in this last few weeks has been overwhelmingly amazing, and it's been it's just made me feel fantastic.
Yeah, and because I always want to go back around to the online blogs, and I started reading Ain't It Cool News, which was something I
Harry
loved.
Knowles.
And do you guys ever, aside from maybe schmoesno.com, which I'm sure you visit regularly every day. Do you ever kind of dip your toe in that? Not meaning like reviewing, but just kind of checking what the geek chatter is.
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I have Flipboard on my phone, so that aggregates a lot of news sites. So I go through that. I love IndieWire.
Yeah, IndieWire I like, and
First Showing.
Yep, First Showing's great. I'm a Joe Blow guy. But I started with Ain't It Cool, and to bring that around to Schmoeville again, it's like Ain't It Cool. What I always noticed was that they were very angry in the comment sections, and then they would take shots at you that were hard. I mean, really going for the jugular there. And I always felt that maybe that was the downfall of that site, because I think what you're talking about with Schmoeville and Scott, being embraced by Schmoeville, it's like it becomes a community. So you like doing this,
and they'll go to bat for you.
Absolutely.
If someone steps in
if one
from the
person
outside.
steps up and says, "You know what, this guy's a whatever," and it'll be like, like I'm gonna be talking to this person here. And so I find that interesting that there is this online community, whether it be AMC Movie Talk or AMC Independent, your new show, or even now Profiles with you, Mantz. You guys are such great interaction. I mean, of course, I've liked your page. I'm sending in comments. I'm taking pictures, looking on your pictures. Yeah, right. I did take your picture today.
Thank you.
But that's interesting. And since we're there talking about the community, actually, Schmoeville sent me some questions that I thought was interesting, because I haven't really heard, something that Rasika. We all know Rasika, right?
Yeah, I love Rasika.
Yeah, he said, I think, Scott, you already really answered this, but he said, I know Reilly was once involved with films. He's written some screenplays before. It'd be interesting to hear if Alicia or Scott have ever been involved with a film or plan on doing so sometime in the future.
No.
You're already shaking your heads. I don't even have to finish that question.
I know. I very quickly realized how long it takes to shoot a film, and I do not have the patience for that. That's why
I don't
like
either.
TV.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I love writing. I am a screenwriter. It is fun to be just in my own little world. I tend to do that. I put a little cocoon. You're talking about your little... what'd you say?
Put on my Alicia Malone suit.
Yeah, your Alicia Malone suit. I tend to turn off the lights, put on the music, have a glass of wine, and just kind of disappear into my story. I love that. And Scott, you mentioned too, you're not...
No desire.
No desire.
I thought I did. I thought I did, because I mean, once I came out here and I realized that I was like, whoa, I'm in I'm in Magic Land here.
Yeah.
And I was like, where do I fit? But I did a lot of figuring out what I wanted to do by dabbling in things that I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I figured it out. I tried things that I didn't want to, that I realized I didn't want to do. I don't want to make movies. I just like watching them. I like talking about them. I like writing about them. I like going on camera. And, you know, this is not a shameless plug for profiles, but I love doing profiles with Alicia. It's so
I love listening to it. Plug away.
So
I love it.
so
It's part of
fun.
the same network. We are dipping our toes in each other's shows right now.
But like I would text Alicia and I'd be like, hey, what if we do this? Hey, what if we do that? And then I was finally like, is it okay that I text you? And
No, I love the excitement. The first day we were set to shoot profiles, and one of my favorite things was Scott calls me in the morning and he's like, are you pumped? Are you ready? Are you ready to go? I'm like, yes, I'm pumped. Hang up the phone 2 minutes later. Are you still pumped? It made me laugh so much. I was like, yes, I am. I'm definitely pumped. No, I love it.
So you
so
guys,
fun.
this is your calling.
Definitely.
It feels like it.
Oh, yeah.
It
So
feels like it.
I love that because it shows, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen, and I'm sure these celebrities and these actors and these directors have seen like the usual kind of person walk in and go,
Yeah.
so what was it like shooting with
No way.
Matthew McConaughey?
Tell me about your character.
Tell me about your character.
No.
And, you know,
No
it's
way.
you're again, I keep going to your energy.
Yeah.
And that's what's something that's
My
interesting.
aim is to always get at least one, good question.
Yeah?
Every interview.
I like that.
My aim is to just pull a total rabbit out of my hat, if I can, if it's appropriate.
Okay.
And
Like your Star Trek interviews.
okay, you want to hear a great story?
JJ
Yes.
Star Trek.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm a huge Trekker.
Yep.
I love the 2009 movie.
Sorry, isn't it Trekkie?
No,
No, apparently it's
Trekkies.
Trekker.
No.
I like this. I like
do
this.
not, Mark Reilly, do not call us Trekkies.
Okay.
Do not like to be called Trekkies.
I did not know that. Was
We
that a
are
bad thing?
Trekkers,
Trekkers.
my man.
Okay. I like this. I don't know. 'cause-
Okay, so I interviewed Zachary Quinto and Chris Pine back in 2009. And throughout the course of the interview, you can see them go from being like totally freaked out by me because like they could tell that I was a big Trekker and everything like that.
Okay.
But
They're like, we got to play ball here.
Here
but
we
they,
go.
like Chris Pine actually said, security. But over the course of the interview, you could tell how they warmed up to me because not only was I giving my thumbs up on the movie because I loved it as a Trekker, but because I was a film critic.
Yeah.
So I was like saying, I specifically said it's not just a great Star Trek movie; it's a great movie. Period.
Yeah.
All right. So 4 years later, the junket for Star Trek Into Darkness,
Okay.
which wasn't as good,
Okay.
but I still enjoyed it, was in London.
did too.
So I'm like, geez, how do I top that interview?
Yeah.
That interview was great.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, it's the morning, I'm getting ready to leave, and I'm like, oh well. And just as I was ready to walk out the door, I was like, wait, my bar mitzvah. I had on November 21st, 1981.
With dates?
My 13th,
Yeah.
well, it was my 13th birthday.
Okay.
It was
Okay,
a
easy to
Star Trek bar mitzvah.
Oh my God.
So I was like, wait a minute. Do I have any pictures? And I assumed that I left my photo album back in Philadelphia with my parents. But no, I brought it out here with me. So I grabbed it, threw it into my carry-on.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to put it in my check-in luggage if, God forbid, it got lost.
No, yeah, that's a keepsake
So
right there.
I'm like, this will be like 6 of one, half dozen of the other. They'll either love it or they won't.
Yeah.
So on the morning, it was May 4th, 2013.
Okay.
It was the day after Alicia Malone and I did our jump at Abbey Road,
Okay.
which was very, very cool.
You guys, man.
Am I good with dates? I'm good with dates.
Incredible with dates.
Okay, so-
Definitely good with dates. Definitely good with
yeah,
dates.
yeah. My next little driver. My next little driver.
Next, of course, next hour is WAP.
Next little driver.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was the morning of May 4th, and they come into the room where we're set up, and we're the first interview.
Okay.
And Zachary Quinto says, "Are you our first interview?" And I said, "I think so." And he goes, "Oh, great!" And I went, "Oh, thank God." So Chris Pine walks in. He's eating a bowl of Cheerios.
Okay.
You know, so we're the first interview. So they sit down. The camera's going. Speed. Okay. So I said, "Guys, all right. Now we've established the fact that I'm a huge Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
But just to prove how much of a Trek fan I am, I brought proof. And I held up the book. And Zachary Quinto goes, "Are those photos?" I said, "This is my Star Trek bar mitzvah photo album." Chris Pine goes, "Oh my God, I gotta see this." "Oh, look at little Scott Allen there." So it was a 10-minute interview. 5 of those minutes were them just looking through the photo album, being like, "Oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. Wait, who's that? Who's that? Who's that girl? Who's that guy? Who's that?" And I'm like, "Guys, I actually do have to ask you a question
At least one question
about the movie."
About the movie.
Movie.
Oh, it was so. But
It
that's the
turned
kind
out
of
really
thing
well.
that I just was like, that was just like one of my favorite interviews.
Well, you guys, it's really hard. What you guys do is hard because I was actually hired last year to go to CinemaCon in Vegas.
Okay.
And I was under the assumption I would just be doing some interviews with some regular folk about their movie-going experience. I had my cinematographer, cameraman, I had a big event that I had to do. Then all of a sudden they threw me in to interview celebrities. And I got to interview Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
Awesome guy.
Nice guy.
I think swallowed my tongue. My foot was definitely like, so do you want to be in a Star Wars movie?
Yeah.
It's not easy, okay? And then not only that, but the personalities that were walking through that hall that I was maybe going to interview. I don't know. It was like the publicist. I learned you actually have to like kind of fight your way with some of these publicists to get an interview.
Yeah, some of those places.
Because I had to do that as well. I wanted to grab Morgan Freeman. I wanted to grab Harrison Ford. Yeah. And I didn't get either of them. Morgan Freeman shook my hand. Harrison Ford winked at me. Lost my mind because I thought I was getting that interview. But I would have been a wreck. So for you guys, have you walked into like, this is it. This is the big one. My biggest fan, or I'm your biggest fan, and you have to just pull it together right away.
Yeah.
Who's yours, Alicia?
I get really nervous with people that I grew up watching. So Clint Eastwood recently, I was really nervous for that. But one that I just couldn't believe, just because it's like, how am I getting to interview her, is Oprah Winfrey.
Wow.
Oh,
so that was for The Butler. I was number 45 for the day. And I was really nervous. I walked in.
45. So you have to wait for 44 people ahead of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you got to go in and deliver something.
And turn it on.
So I walked into the room, and then luckily she has a natural energy.
Yeah.
So they said, "This is Alicia Malone from Australia," and she went, "Australia."
John Travolta.
And then she was like, "Come here and give me a hug." I was like,
oh my God, you didn't even have to ask.
And she was such a pro. I mean, she would use my name in her answers, and so that was one that I was like, "What? I'm interviewing Oprah? That's sure."
It's surreal, right?
Waiting for the hook to like drag me out of the room.
And Mantz, I'm not even gonna let you answer this because I just saw a picture. We're gonna plug your Martin Scorsese profiles coming up.
Yeah.
And I saw
big.
That's big.
I saw that picture, and I mean, for me as a not only a burgeoning filmmaker and writer and lover of movies, Scorsese next to Spielberg, I would have been jelly.
Yeah,
what was that like?
Talk to Spielberg. I haven't talked to Scorsese. I always say that's my drop the mic moment. So I was jealous at that photo.
What was that like? Were you nervous?
Yeah.
I could see the change.
But that photo was taken on December 21st. 2013. It was the very, very last interview that I did, the very last work thing that I did in 2013.
This is for Wolf of Wall Street?
It was for Wolf of Wall Street, and it was on a Friday, and I was just during the week, one of our producers in New York said, "Hey, there's a chance that Scorsese might be available for a sit down."
Oh my God.
And, I'm just watching emails go back and forth, and even though I handle Paramount, I just figured they'll send Town or they'll send the producer to cover and do the interview, and I didn't realize it was going to be in LA. So then she said to me, "Hey, I'm pushing for you to do this interview."
Oh wow.
So it was at the Hotel Bel Air.
Okay.
And then he comes in, and listen, I was pumped. I was definitely pumped. I was not nervous. The only person who ever made me nervous was Harrison Ford.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he would have made me nervous too.
Okay, he was tough.
So that was a.
So we sit down, we start talking. I said, first of all, I just want to, how long does a person have to know you before they get to call you Marty?
Okay.
So he goes, "You can call me Marty."
Oh boy.
Oh boy, shoot, score.
Yeah.
So, the interview was just about the movie.
Yeah.
And it was definitely, I was on the flow back and forth.
Yeah,
But
he's great because he always insists on having longer slots because he doesn't like being restricted to 4 minutes. And he's also very careful about who he talks to, so this speaks volumes.
There you go.
So then this was the best part of all. So this was in December of 2013. February 9th, 2014 was the exact 50th anniversary of the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Right.
And we were trying to get reactions from all the major celebrities we were talking to who were influenced by that moment. So obviously, Marty just did this documentary on George Harrison. He's a big music buff.
Yeah.
Obviously, he likes the Beatles.
Yeah.
So at the end of the interview, I said, "Listen, I am a huge Beatles fan," and he smiles, and I said, "I loved Living in the Material World," which is a 3.5-hour documentary about George Harrison. And I said, I just love that movie so much, but I want to ask you, we're coming up on the 50th anniversary of the Beatles in the USA. How did the Beatles change your life? What do you remember about that time?
Yeah.
So he lit up, he smiled, he told me this whole story about he went to school and his friends were like saying how, guys, you got to hear the song. You got to hear the song.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to be on the Ed Sullivan. They're going to be on the Ed Sullivan show. It's going to be great. And he talks very, very fast.
Oh, yeah.
But
Smarty.
he was very like gracious at the end of the interview. I said, hey, before I let you go, can I get my picture taken? He goes, sure. Took that picture. Done.
Yeah.
If I didn't have bills to pay, that would have been my drop the mic moment too.
That's your drop the mic moment. Well, guys, I have to wrap it up. I mean, I could go forever with you guys. You guys have a courage that I admire for getting in front of these people. I know courage is a pretty strong word, but I'm going to say it because you guys kick butt. I mean, look, I had a couple experiences in front of some celebrities, and it's not easy. What you guys do is just so great. And Access Hollywood is awesome. AMC Movie Talk, Fandango, Profiles. You guys, plug Profiles, plug your Twitter, give it to the good people of Schmoeville right now.
Well, make sure you go to iTunes and you look up Profiles with Malone and Mantz, and you subscribe, rate, and review, and also to this here YouTube channel, youtube.com/schmoesnopodcast.
That's right.
And then you can find me at Alicia Malone on Twitter.
And you can also find me at Movie Mantz on Twitter. Again, please go to iTunes and rate and review us, and rate and review Meet the Movie Press, because we need these ratings and reviews to support, to survive, because we definitely want to keep going.
Yeah, it keeps the lights on, and they said it for me. You know, please go on over to iTunes, subscribe to Meet the Movie Press, subscribe to Schmoes No YouTube channel /SK Podcast. Find us on Facebook, Meet the Movie Press on the Schmoes No Network. Hit that like button, and you can join us here every week, guys. Thanks. I am Mark Reilly, editor-in-chief of Schmoes No. You can find me at Reilly Around on Twitter. Thanks very much, Alicia and Scott. You guys are just awesome. This was such a fun show. I don't want it to end, but it's ending now, folks. This is Meet the Movie Press. I have no idea who we have next week, but it'll be somebody cool. I'm working the phones right now. Jeff Sneider will be back. Wish him luck. Send him out a little tweet wishing him luck on Toronto Film Fest. And thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
From producers Christian Harloff, Mark Ellis, and the entire Schmoes No Network crew, we would like to thank you for listening to Meet the Movie Press. Special thanks to Kevin Undergaro and Maria Menounos, the author of Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness, in stores now. To watch or listen to other Schmoes No Network episodes, get movie news, or join the conversation, be sure to visit schmoesno.com. I'm the Pit Boss, and this has been a presentation of Schmoes No